youth. The astounding and alarming rates of crime by young adults in our nation have called for attention. Not a day goes by when newspaper headlines don't read about crimes done by youths. We are talking against gender inequality, sexual assaults, corruption, poverty, cybercrime, rape, and whatnot. And our own youth, who are future of the nation, are the one under scrutiny for committing these crimes. Youth are there to shape the future of the country, and statistics of crime amongst youth portrays a dark, clouded picture for the nation. According to released figures of the National Crime Record Bureau, NCRB, almost 60% crimes against minors are done by youngsters of age 16 and 18. That accounts for 28,830 out of 43,506 crimes registered against minors under the Indian Penal Code IPC and the Special Local Law SLL. Crime against women, rape, sex scandals, insulting women via words, gestures of acts, rose at an unbelievable, alarming rate. The figures upsets as rape cases by juvenile increased 60%, acts to insult women raised to 70.5%. Cybercrime, majority used for earning money and blackmailing partners by young teenagers. There had been 53.5% rise in the cybercrime. Out of 324 people arrested under the IT Act, 215 were from the age group of 18 to 30 years. The traceable behavior and the reasons are far from the obvious, but majority, such as worrying figures, are contributed due to easy money, unemployment, fitting into the group, lust for attention. But blaming the youth for all of it will clearly be wrong. Youth at most times in such cases are themselves victims. Many qualified young criminals are drawn to committing crimes due to scarcity of jobs. Also, peer pressure plays a negative role, which leads teenagers to earn money in easy ways, show off, and try to gain attention by buying expensive gadgets. The upbringing lack of time provided to youngsters has led to most of the youngsters to be drawn towards the wrong path. There is not one, but many ways to put a stop to let youth destroy their and nation's future. We are in dire need for a better education system. Huge modifications is called for in terms of upbringing and social awareness. Youngsters are a sensitive and tender group and need to be dealt with better care and protection. They need time and need to be talked out with the help of love and care. It does not guarantee that no offending by youth will be considered or committed by reduces the risk to a minimal level. Strengthened law enforcement, better judiciary setup can discourage youngsters from committing such crimes. Juvenile delinquency or criminal activity by children below the age of 18 years continues to be a topic of discussion following the involvement of a juvenile in the Nirbhaya gang rape case that shook the nation in December 2012. The latest crime in India report published by NCRB for the year 2018 stated that a total of 31,591 crimes committed by juvenile were reported in 2018. Maharashtra alone accounted for 19% of these cases. Majority of the crimes committed by juveniles were offenses affecting human body and property. 92% of the cases involving juvenile were IPC-related crimes. The maximum number of cases were that of offenses affecting human body, that is 37.7%. This included hurt and grievous hurt, 47%, rape, 13%, and assault on women to outrage her modesty, 12%, among many others. Property-related offenses amount to 37.6% of all crimes involving juveniles. Theft alone constituted 70% of these offenses, followed by burglary constituting 16.8% and robbery accounting for 10%. Cases under POCSO Act 2012 accounted for 45.4% of the cases under special and local laws SLL. And to discuss this very, very important and relevant topic, increasing crime among youth, we have a very elite, those who understand this problem, and they have seen the problem very closely. Those panelists are with us today, and I would like to invite my first panelist. He is Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand is the senior psychiatrist and marriage counselor. Dr. Rajiv Anand passed his MBBS in 1980 from King's George Medical College, Lucknow. He opted to serve his country when it was very common to settle abroad for brighter future. He has been serving society with his base in Bombay. He has clients all over India as well as in many other countries. He was honored with Lifetime Achievement Award by AMA. He has conducted more than 3,000 workshops for different groups and companies with audience size of 10 to 800. His television program on various channels have been widely appreciated for his forthright and practical approach. He is leading in the field of mental and emotional well-being for 40 years. He was president of IMA for 2 times. He was interviewed in several talk shows in domestic and internationally. Welcome, Dr. Rajiv Anand, on our show. Dr. Rajiv Anand, as you know, that in the present society, the crime rate is increasing, but the way it is increasing in the youth is very alarming, and even the July. So we would like to know your views on increasing crime among youth. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please. Dr. Rajiv Anand.
Thank you, Mr. Lal, for the kind words, and good morning to. Am I audible?
Yes, please.
I'm unmuted. Am I audible?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay. So good morning, my fellow panelists, Madam Urvashi from Jaipur, principal of a City Palace School, then Advocate Jyoti Pawar and Nitishri, my fellow colleague psychiatrists from Sri Ganganagar and Rajasthan, and of course, Ms. Hal. And it's a very interesting topic. It's a burning topic all over the world, not only in our country, all over the world. Let me put my view. I think the crime was existing even earlier. It was reported less. It was detected less. The media, the electronic and the print and the social media has brought it to the awareness of everyone, is being talked about more, is being detected more, is being reported more, is being investigated more, is being taken to the court much more than it used to be earlier. Madam Jyoti Pawar would throw light whether it remained there in the files in the court or it finally reaches the logical, and that's an open question. I'm not expert in that. But certainly more and more number of cases, right from Arabia to anywhere, or the case in Hyderabad, they are being brought to the public notice, which is very good sign. People are getting scared about that. They can't easily get away because it gets spread like a wildfire. Second part.
Excuse me, Dr. Anand. Your net is giving some trouble. If you are using any other device on the same network, please disconnect them because your net is weak. So your voice is a bit cracking in between.
Okay.
Just see if any other device is, or please try to your
Sulal,
network.
what I can do? What?
We again.
I can come back after 15 minutes. You meantime take another panelist.
Yeah. I think that will be better because we want to hear your
panelist meantime.
Yes, please. Yes.
Another panelist. I would come back after 11.
Okay. Thank you very much. So we will, because of the technical problem with Dr. Rajiv Anand network, he will be joining us again after some time. Till the time, I am going to invite my next guest, and she is Miss Urvashi Warman. Miss Urvashi is the principal of the Palace School, the City Palace, Jaipur. Miss Urvashi has been associated with the field of education for more than 2 decades. She has written a series of books on general awareness and EVS for primary school children. She has penned several articles for various newspapers. A prolific writer, her articles have been published in many journals and magazines. She has also written and produced many musical plays for the school children. She was the sole representative from India for the Global Assembly of Educators Sans Frontiers in Dallas, USA in the year 2012. She won many awards for her outstanding contribution in the field of education. Welcome, Miss Urvashi Varman, on our show. Miss Urvashi, we because of the problem with Dr. Rajiv Anand, so he will be joining afterwards. But definitely, we would like to know from you, because you are in the principal of a very, very prestigious school of Rajasthan or in Jaipur, and you are dealing with the children very closely. So you are seeing their problems day and night, and you know how the children are shaping up, and why they are going towards crime, and what are the reasons. So we would like to know from you the increasing crime among youth. Miss Urvashi Varman, please.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goel, Mr. Lal. And it's indeed a very important topic that you have chosen to deliberate upon. And it's a topic which is very close to my heart, because being in a school and having been an educationist since more than 2 decades, I find that the criminal mindset of the children is on the rise. And it's a very worrying factor, because, and there are so many contributing factors to it. So, as normally we would say, it's not only due to incidents of child abuse, it is not only due to incidents of domestic violence, or it could say also due to, it could be domestic violence of any kind, it could be sexual violence, it could be repeatedly becoming victim of certain bullies, because it is bullied. Children who are bullied ultimately turn into bullies also later on. So all these factors definitely are there, but one of the major factors I personally find these days, which is increasing criminality amongst young children, is the increased propensity of these people to play a lot of violent online video games. This has really increased the criminal mindset of the children, and it's a very, very serious problem. And I would say, though being a school principal, I know that online classes are very, very important to be held. Because of the pandemic, we can't have physical classes happening. But it is also a fact that if parents are not vigilant, then we just don't know what the children are doing when the camera is switched off and the child has opened up another window and is playing a video game at that time. So parents have to be very vigilant. So it's not only during the online classes, but even apart from that, past few years, statistics show that due to increased engagement of children with violent online games, their mindset is changing, they're turning more criminal, and they don't even realize that it is wrong. Some of the online games are so violent. We have got a lot of online games like Manhunt and Mortal Kombat and a lot of things wherein the person who's participating, the participant is supposed to identify with one virtual character. He dons that character. And it has been seen that normally the character he chooses to play is very close to his physical self in reality. And then points and credit points, the more violence and the more gore they show while playing the game, the more points they get. So it becomes, the mind gets used to it being fed, that's the adrenal rush they get. However much violence they show, and any kind of new kind of violence they show. So the way a person is killed, or how to rape or kill or murder, that becomes a part of the psyche. And addiction to that rush of adrenaline, this comes with the addiction of getting hooked onto the game, that eagerness to win. And without realizing, the child slowly loses the difference between being in a virtual world and a real world. And children have been known to react violently even in their real life. There was a very famous incident that happened a few years ago, wherein a young boy just happened to stab a cabbie when he got into an argument with him. And later on, when he was asked why he did it, he says, because he's so used to doing this in his virtual world. So for him, it became an instant reaction and he indulged in it. So for them, crime becomes a normal norm, and they lose that distinction between what is right and what is wrong. And this is a very, very worrying factor. So it's very important that parents know which games their children are indulging in, what are the things they're doing online. They need to keep a check on the online history. They need to put in internet filters wherein certain games cannot be downloaded and cannot be played. So it's extremely important because this is one of the biggest contributors of violence amongst youngsters these days, amongst all the other areas which have been there for a very long time. So this is my area of concern, and that's what I wanted to share with you.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Urvashi, for giving your views. And what Ms. Urvashi said, I will just highlight one point, one or 2 points especially. She says the domestic violence, yes, it was there and it is there. So that is one of the reasons. But today, why the crime is increasing very sharply, because the violent video games. She says that the child is hooked and plays the violent video game, thinking of coming or taking that, becoming a virtual character himself or herself, and doing those violent acts, whether it's a rape or murder or killing, whatsoever. And then the difference between virtuality and the reality, he or she forgets. And then the crime starts. And that is why the crime rate is going up. According to Ms. Urvashi Varman, the responsibility lies with the parents, because school can do up to a limit when they are in schools, but when they are at home, or right now because of the lockdown, online education is going on, everything has to be seen by the parents, whether they are not doing anything extra or other things apart from the education, and especially they are not hooked up with the these types of violent videos. And she suggested that there should be some check, there should be some lock. Parents should see to it that their device should not be allowing these types of violent videos on their device. So and she is very clear that until unless we will not do, the crime will not be going to stop so easily. Thank you very much, Ms. Urvashi, for giving your views, because being a principal of a school, and that to a very, very prestigious school, you are knowing the students very closely, their behavior, and so you can very well give the first-hand information to what is the one of the main reason, and the main reason is this violent video. And we know that many times the government ban few of the games, but it is not possible to ban all the games so easily. And once you ban one game, the other games is there on the screen, so it's very, very difficult. Thank you very much, Ms. Urvashi, for giving your views. I can see Dr. Anand, if he's there. Dr. Anand, are you there? Please unmute yourself. We can't hear you. Please unmute.
Even though I'm here, but let Jyoti ji continue.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Dr. Anand. So now I would like to invite my next guest, and she is Advocate Jyoti Pawar. Advocate Jyoti Pawar is practicing law for last more than 33 years in Mumbai. She has done masters in science and master in law. She worked as a special public prosecutor in Sessions Court, Mumbai, and was on teaching faculty of JC Law College. In 1995, she was appointed as additional public prosecutor, High Court, dealing with important criminal writs as well as criminal appeals. Thereafter, in 1999, she was appointed as the head of writ appellate side, which gave her a chance to defend government in high-stakes matters as well as public interest litigations touching social causes.
Thank you, Mr. Lal, and good morning.
This
to all the
meeting is
fellow
being
panelists.
recorded.
Today, when we deal about the youths and the crime, I have my personal experiences in the corridors and in the courts. about the youths committing various crimes. Now, as far as youths are concerned, there may be so many factors which are affecting their behavior or they are committing crime today. Youths are the future of a country. They are the foundation of shining India. Modi ji, today's Prime Minister, says that youth are the foundation of a country and it is shining India tomorrow. So today committing crimes are coming from different backgrounds. Firstly, the youth used to mostly belong to the poorer section of the society who used to commit crimes or petty crimes. But today, what has happened that even from affluent families, the youth are committing crimes, not thinking about the outcome of the crime and what will be the impact on the society as a whole of the commission of the crime. Now, as far as India is concerned, the social and economic upheavals that the youth faces in today's generation is very alarming. We have a discriminatory society where the poor are very poor and the rich are very rich. Now, what happens that the youths, they try to compare themselves, and while comparison, they want to earn money fast. That is the most important motto today of the youth, that fast money everybody wants in every field, rather even in lawyers field, advocates are concerned. The younger advocates, they want to earn fast money. And for that reason, they try to go to any extent to get the clients. I have seen with my eyes that when dealing with the matters, sex crimes particularly, the youths, for the sake of enjoyment, use girls. And then after consent also, some of the girls, they come in the courts because they know that if their demand is not satisfied, they can always file rape cases against the youths. Now, the youths which are committing such type of rape crimes and other crimes, they are majorly seen in the age group of 18 to 30. Now, as far as the National Crime Record Bureau is concerned, the age group which has been stated who are committing crimes is between 18 and 30. And 41% of the youths are committing various different crimes under the Indian Penal Code. Now, the violent behavior which the youths have adopted, there are several triggers for such. One being parental conflicts, second being broken families, third being child abuse, fourth being poor parental supervision, fifth being delinquent peers, and the carefree attitude of the youths. Now, what has happened that we see today, that most of the families are broken families, and the children are confused as to whom they should follow and what they should do in life, because single parenting has become a norm of today. And in such cases, the youths are confused, and in confusion, they make friendship with such a people, such a persons, that they also they also motivate them to commit crimes which are unknowingly done by them so many times, and they don't know the outcome of their actions. As far as the social disconnect is concerned, most of the people from villages today, where there was so much unity between them, have migrated to cities. And once the youth migrates to city, they find it very difficult to get employment, and they get forced into criminal situation, and they commit crimes. Once a crime is committed and you go in police record, the police will definitely see that these are the persons who will go on committing crimes. And if at all, I have seen in some type of cases that where the police are not able to trace the accused, they will always find out one of the history sheeters. History sheeters is the person who commits crimes at different junctures, and he has already been in the police record. So they catch one of them from the area and they produce him in the court as the accused person. So it is very important for youths today to not fall to such type of criminal activities. And the major concern for this is the aspirations which are being held by the youth in their minds to do more income in short time. That is the most important trigger. Today we know that sexual crimes are on rise. Not only that, the latest being the cyber crimes which are committed by youths. That's very easy money. We see so many viral videos in which the youths goes to the ATM and they take out all the money from the ATM and they run away. They go to jewelry shop in the daytime and loot them at the gunpoint, which is very unfortunate. For this, the government, the parents, teachers, and all other concerned have to work unitedly to see that youths don't commit such crimes and they are properly trained. Their minds are properly trained, and the outcome of the crime is brought to them, that if at all they are caught in such type of crimes, they will not be spared by the law. Now, as far as the juveniles are concerned, that was a major factor which came into limelight during the Nirbhaya case. The Nirbhaya case, one of the accused was of 16 years and below, and as far as the Juvenile Justice Act is concerned of 1960, it had given the age of boys as 16 and girls 18 to be tried in the regular court. Otherwise, the Juvenile Justice Act would be made applicable to them, and they would not be prosecuted in the court of law, and will be prosecuted by the Juvenile Justice Court, which are not in the regular courts. They are differently situated. Now, what has happened, that in Nirbhaya case, the outrage among the public was so much that the court had to consider the law which was there earlier as to what age should be fixed for such type of convictions. And therefore, in 2015, the law came to be amended and the age was raised to 18. So the persons who fall between the age of 16 and 18 were tried as normal accused in the court. Now, this was a major step taken by Juvenile Justice Court, because today we see that even youngest people in the teenage, they go and commit crime. In the latest, I have seen that one of the inspector's son, he was in depression, as Dr. Anand must be very seeing with so many cases now. Youths are in depression, even girls and boys. They are suffering a lot of depression for whatever reasons, various reasons. And he went and killed his mother because she was against him for seeing some video games, some violent act. And that is why he went and killed his mother. Now, whether he was really aware about his action, what he was doing or not, that is a question. Now, as far as the as far as the biological aspect is concerned, today the youths are developing physically very fast, and their mind is not being developed that fast as far as their physical body is concerned. Therefore, what has happened, that since the mind is not developed, it is very easy to be hijacked. Such minds should be hijacked by persons, those who are very expert in committing crimes. Now, television and cinema, I think this is the major factor which contributes towards crimes. According to me, the heroes which are shown in the film, by what means they do crimes and how successfully they don't get convicted for the crimes committed. The children, that has a great impact on their minds, television and cinema. They also want to act in the same way. Nowadays, the cinema and the television heroes are their icons and even ideals, and they want to behave like that way so that they can earn fast money. In the lust for money, these type of things are happening. Now, as far as the unemployment is concerned, the unemployment is also a very big issue today amongst the youth who are not getting employed, and that's why they are committing such type of offenses. Now, in pandemic, when this pandemic is going on, Corona, we see that a lot of crimes are committed on highways. The people are looting in daytime. Now, the situation has become more bad. Our Prime Minister is saying that everybody should become an entrepreneur. But it's very difficult for everybody to go and become an entrepreneur. Much more employment is required for the youths today so that they don't fall into crime sectors. But unfortunately, that much employment is not there. As far as the schools are concerned, we have to change the policies which are adopted by the schools. As in Japan, if you see that the children are trained in the school, not only for studies, but other activities like respecting the elders, which is very important among all other activities. Respecting the elders, respecting the girls, and also doing their own work, cleaning the school premises, being responsible for their action. That type of policies has to be adopted by the schools, which are the which are the most important body for training of young minds. Now, if the youths are trained from the school days itself, how to respect women, I think so rape can come down a lot. Drastic, it can come down. But the school policies definitely have to change. Today, we concentrate only on education as studies. And there's so much of peer pressure and even parental pressure to get this much percentage to become this and that the children under the pressure, they go into depression and they don't even score that much, but then they feel so much inferior that they think that if they can be useful by earning some sort of money, even the high class people, they go in for white collared crimes and they commit crimes and then they go into jails. Today we see that in TV and cinema people, they are mostly into drug addiction, as recently we have seen. Drug addiction is also a big issue. The drug addiction is an easy target as far as youth are concerned. And so many drugs are bought in India, Punjab being the state where the maximum drug addicts are there. And drugs are imported here and they are given, distributed. Lakhs of rupees are spent on that. I have seen myself, I have tried people from Africa and all over the world, those who bring drugs, even they are in their 18 to 30 years old. So these type of things are being done by youth. I feel that today, as far as the youth are concerned, we cannot, I know that by capital punishment, by hanging or giving death sentence, total stoppage of this type of crimes can't be done. But I would also recommend at the same time that the Muslim countries, that are the Saudi countries, which are adopting the deterrent type of punishment, should be adopted by India, because not only hanging in private, but they should be socially hanged or socially punished, so that there is a stigma on everybody's mind that if they commit such type of crime, they will not be spared by law, and such will be the result. I feel that reformative punishment has failed in India, and the deterrent punishment should be tried for all this. Now, 550 million youths are there in our country. And as far as 41% are concerned, they are committing various crimes under the Indian Penal Code. So we are sitting actually on a bomb which can explode anytime. Therefore, the government and all the concerned departments like teachers, schools, parents, and all others should unitedly work for developing the youth in a proper direction so that they don't take to criminal activities. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Advocate Jyoti Pawar, for giving your views and being a very senior advocate. You have also seen the crime and especially the youth involved in the crime in the corridors of court. And what Advocate Pawar has mentioned is very, very significant. She says earlier the poor or those who are not affluent, they used to commit the crime, youth, and but as a petty criminals, petty crime. But now affluent class is youth is also committing crime, and there is a lots of competition among themselves, whether if they are rich, they compete with richer person, or the poor is also competing. The youth is, and once you are doing the comparison, you want to do something more so that you will have more money. And she has given lots of reasons why the youth has come in the crime. One of the reason is the broken family, because the youth is not knowing whom to follow, mother or father, why to follow, and all these things. Poor parenting, social disconnect. She says those youth who are coming from the village, coming to the big cities, they are totally disconnected. They don't know what to do, and they are not getting job easily, so they are committing crime. And she has given other reasons also, but she says, and the main reason, the thing is the cyber crime, which she says now these youth are involved in cyber crime, looting the ATMs, etc. She has also mentioned about the Nirbhaya case, and she says at that time before the Nirbhaya case, as per the law, up to 16 years, the boy cannot be up to 16 years cannot be in a regular court. It has to be in the juvenile court. But after the Nirbhaya case, it was decided that the boy can also be tried in the court. I just want a clarification from Advocate Pawar. Earlier, the age for the boy is 16 years, or the girl was 16 years. Advocate Jyoti Pawar, please unmute, please unmute, please unmute, please unmute, please unmute.
Boys was 16 years and girls was 18 years.
18 years. And
Yes.
now after Nirbhaya case, now the boy's age has come to what?
Now both have come into 16 to 18.
Means
Males and females both.
so no, but suppose a crime has been earlier, it was 16 years.
Yes,
The
yes.
boy.
Yes.
But if the boy age is say 15,
Yes.
so he will be tried in the regular court or the
juvenile justice court.
Juvenile justice. So it was all earlier. So the Nirbhaya, that fellow was below 16 when he committed crime.
He was little bit below 16, some months below 16.
So even today, in today's case, today's time, if somebody has committed crime below 16, he would have not been tried in the regular court.
No.
Okay. So what they have changed, they have reduced the age of the girl. Then it means.
Yes.
But the boys are but the boys are committing crime. These types of crime.
Yes.
Girls are not committing the sexual crime. Okay. Anyway, so what? Thank you for clarifying, because it's no. So now, even after that, still the crime is increasing, and she has. She says that one of the major reason is the movies and the hero worship, because the youth is hero worshipping the heroes of the movies, and they would like to see how they are committing crime and they become overnight rich, and then everything is fine. So they want to follow, and her suggestion is that schools should try to follow what Japan is doing, where they are teaching, apart from the teaching, they are teaching how to respect the elders, how to clean the schools, how to respect the women or the girls. That is very, very important. And she says one of the reasons is the peer pressure, the parental pressure, so much that the child become a drug addict. And that is also a very, very big thing. And her view, personal view, Advocate Jyoti Pawar view is that the punishment in India should change, and they should be given in open, like Saudi Arabia. Such type of crime should be punished openly. If anybody has to be hanged, it should be hanged publicly. But these are the views which Advocate Jyoti Pawar has given. So these are her views. Thank you very much, Advocate Jyoti Pawar. We know that everyone today is concerned about the crime in youth. We have done a program with Dr. Rajiv Anand earlier, where even the young mothers of those who have a child of 2 years, 3 years, they are worried how to safeguard their children from this sex crime or this crime which is prevailing in our society. Anyway, thank you very much, Advocate Jyoti Pawar. Now I would like to go to my next panelist. I think Dr. Rajiv Anand will speak in the last. Dr. Anand, just to note, I can see you. So, okay. So now I am inviting my next guest, and she is Dr. Iti Shri Sidhana. Dr. Iti Shri completed MD Psychiatry in 2014 from NKP Salve Institute, Nagpur, and then worked as senior resident at GB Pant Hospital, New Delhi. Her area of interest is child and adolescent psychiatry. After senior residency, she joined as a consultant psychiatrist at Sri Ganganagar, where she worked with schools to promote awareness and train the teachers to screen behavioral issues in children. Currently, she is a consultant psychiatrist in Chandigarh. Welcome, Dr. Iti Shri Sidhana, on our show. Dr. Iti Shri, you have heard what Miss Urvashi Varman has spoken, what Advocate Jyoti Pawar has spoken, and they have given their views very, very clearly. Now, we would like to know your views on increasing crime among youth. Dr. Iti Shri Sidhana, please. No, your voice is not coming.
Am I audible?
Now you are audible. Yes, please, go ahead.
I would like to start with that research has stated that there is a strong link between antisocial behavior in childhood and adulthood.
I will just like to stop you. Your head is bit up, so either you have to go back or push the screen backside. So the head now it is fine. Yes, please go ahead.
I would like to start with that research has stated very clearly that there is a very strong link between antisocial behavior in childhood and adulthood. That means if we are able to predict that these group of children are more prone or are more vulnerable of having antisocial behavior in their childhood or adolescence, we might be able to prevent that antisocial behavior continuing in their adulthood. But how do we know what is actual the risk factors or what makes the child vulnerable of showing antisocial behavior? So it could be either genes. That means if there is family history of drug addiction in the parents, or history of violence, history of antisocial behavior in the parents, then there is role of temperament. Like in adults, we talk about personality. In children, we talk about temperament. They could be either easy to handle, like most of children are. They could be difficult to handle. They could be either very overactive, very cranky, excessive cry. Their reactions to the basic needs like hunger, sleep, need for parenting figures are very difficult to understand by the parents. And some of the children can be slow to warm up. That means they're either very anxious, they do not easily mingle up, they have difficulty expressing their basic needs to their parents, and parents find it very difficult to respond to their needs. So there are these kind of temperaments. Surprisingly, not just the children who are either impulsive or overactive, but also the children who are overtly shy and do not express are also at equal risk of showing antisocial behavior at some of the other point of time. The other factors could be family. We all know that family has a major role in development of a child. Also, family plays a major role in development of problem behavior as well. If a child has faced the problems in families like broken family, domestic violence in family, or drug addiction in the parents, very punitive parenting, very harsh punishments, or neglectful. In that case, when parents are not available for the child emotionally when the child needs them. So all of these as a family factors could play an important role. Then there is history of trauma that has to be ruled out very carefully. Trauma could be either physical trauma, sexual trauma, or emotional trauma in early childhood. Reaction to trauma is not always anxiety or depression or aloofness. Reaction to trauma could be as extreme and as harmful as being rebellious. Those children could start perceiving the world as very brutal. Those children could have problems in trusting and expressing themselves. So, the children who have experienced trauma are also at risk of showing antisocial behavior. Like ma'am also said, the children who are sometimes bullied can also start bullying. So that is also one of the examples of trauma at schools. Then of course, like ma'am said, drug addiction. I think drug addiction follows a vicious circle. Most of the violent crimes have been shown to occur under influence of some drug. Also, most of the crimes were done to procure that drug. Either the children would become drug peddlers or they would become a part of cyber crime to have a lots of huge amount of money to procure those drugs. So it could have a vicious circle of offenses. Then we talk about, of course, internet. So internet, of course, fortunately, because of internet, people, even if in lockdown schools were closed, but still children were able to have their education and they were able to study and they were able to give the exams also online. But if not supervised, it could be very, very scary and risky. If internet is the only thing left in the life of children and they start excluding other activities, other recreational activities, they could actually become desensitized towards the emotions of real world. They would not be able to relate to others emotions. They would become unconcerned. So supervision is very important. Nowadays social behavior has been restricted to giving likes and retweeting and maybe sharing pictures But it is so important to be in touch with the children of their own group, be in touch with the grandparents also for their social behavior and social skills. Apart from that, there are some warning signs that an observant parent or observant school teachers or staff will be able to notice them. If there is sudden change of friend circle, if there is some sudden change of interests, if there is some sudden change in the friend circle, like the children have started spending time with the peer of their older age or some suspicious friend circle, if the children have episodes of even one stealing episode, that one episode should not be ignored because of stigma. Sometimes what happens is, if there is episode of stealing at home, maybe mother would become very protective and would not and would not share it with the other family members because of stigma and taboo. But that should not happen. If even if there is one episode of lying or stealing in the family by the children, it should be discussed, should be taken seriously, and should be taken care of. So also, if there is sudden disruptive pattern of sleep or appetite, or sudden aggressive outbursts which were not there previously, sudden over demanding, suddenly if the child becomes very very secretive and starts latching the doors which he would not do previously. So all these changes in the behavior could be seen as some warning signs that a child could be having a prone or influence of the peer group, of having a antisocial behavior as a predictor. So we should take care of all these warning signs.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Itishi Sidana, for giving your views. And she is giving from the view as a doctor, psychiatrist, and she says that about the antisocial behavior of the childhood, which she highlighted, and she has given full description what are the anti-childhood behavior one can see in this anti-social behavior in the childhood. And she says something comes under genes also, which are if a family is having history of drug addiction, then the child also pick up very fast. Whatsoever the child sees what their parents are doing, he or she picks up those things. She also says that the internet is one of the main reason. If it is not under the supervision of the parents, and the child can go and do anything. And nowadays there are things which are sharing the pictures, which again I will say that the earlier one of the episode, it was very much concerned that how the girls were sharing the pictures and how the boys of that age are misusing those pictures. And she mentioned about that even one episode of something at home, whether some stealing or some lying was done by the youth or the child, one should discuss openly and try to convince and see to it that the child should not repeat that mistake. And about the change of behavior, sometimes lack of sleeping or banging the door or doing something and not normal, that it shows that the child is under some pressure. One should try to clear it, because it's a warning sign, according to Dr. Itishri, that it's a warning sign. If we will not correct at that time, it will become a major problem afterwards, and the child will be or they will commit crime. Thank you very much, Dr. Itishri, for giving your very, very important views as far as the child's psychiatrist psychology is concerned, as well as the parents what they should do. Thank you very much. Now finally I have to go back to our expert, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Dr. Rajiv Anand, I have already introduced you, and now by this time all the viewers of ours, many of them knows you very well. You have heard all the panelists, Ms. Varman, you met Advocate Pawar, as well as Dr. Sidhana. Now we want your views on the topic, that is increasing crime among youth. Dr. Rajiv Anand, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lal. And please also thank you, accept my thanks for waiting for me because of internet connection. I heard Ms. Urvashi Varman, I heard Advocate Jyoti Pawar, I also heard brilliant research-based view, experience-based view of Itishi from Ganganagar, and learned many things today. And in fact, the crime scene has been changing drastically over the last few decades. Let me enumerate few. If we go to the movies which were made in 50s and 60s, many movies has dharmic name, and then by the 70s and 80s, movies began turning into all the crime-related names, meaning from Devar or from Naudo Gyare or underworld-based movie, where the crime is glamorized. And if it is a 16 reel movie or if it is a 2.5 hour movie, for 2 hours, 15 minutes, the crime is glamorized with lavish lifestyle, abundance of money, abundance of sensual pleasure, an abundance of power and the misuse of it, and the power to get away by doing anything only in the last reel of the movie or end of the movie. For the sake of censor or the government regulation, the crime is shown to be meeting its logical end of punishment. But if you show the glamorous aspect of the crime to a young adult or adolescent, he is going to be impressed by it. You tell him that wait, in the end we will show you how and where it meets the end. He will not be interested in your end. He would be interested in seeing wow, what a car, what a bungalow, what a foreign travel, what the uh, number of girls around, what kind of houses, what kind of jacuzzi, what kind of bungalows. And we can't help him getting lured by it. One thing, crime has been glamorized, and there is no check on it whether the social scientists should recommend to the government or the government should take notice of it, the censor board should take notice of it, or all of us jointly should do something in the direction. Second part I would like to bring over here, that all of us who are in our age, wherever we are sitting over here, we can't think of crime. If we have two choices to remain hungry and to do crime, we would prefer being hungry than committing a crime. We have a choice that we are pushed to the last penny, we yet would not indulge in crime because we have been inculcated the good value system by our parents. Whether we were single child or two, or we were one among half a dozen, as the case might have been decades back. The parents had instilled in us those values by virtue of their regular interaction with us, by virtue of role modeling, by their behavior, their ethics, their value system, their character or personality, that we didn't even hear from them anything about crime. We couldn't even conceive that our parents could do something for which they will have to feel shy. So that thought never occurred even when we were young, be it in the context of the sexual behavior, or in the context of the money, or in the context of anything else. Most of us have grown with that value system where the crime will not go through our mind. We would rather sacrifice anything and everything rather than getting caught in a crime. Third thing, the current generation is not as much privileged as we have been, having been close to the parents and having been nourished by the parent. That system is diminishing alarmingly. Even if the number of children parents do have it is far less than what our parents have had, the generation before have had. Today, one child or maximum two. Yet, most parents have brought so much of activity in their life, and I'm not criticizing or mentioning only about Kitty. Even those women who are working, fair enough, nothing wrong with working. There is some discipline need to be brought where every woman and every man has to realize what for the life was meant to become a good parent, what for we are working, what for we got good education, to get a good salary. For what? Good salary for what? To run the house, to give the good education to the children. If you keep on like peeling off the layers of the onion, you would reach the core thing that we have to be good parent to create next generation, a responsible, sensitive generation, responsible, civic minded, respecting generation, which we owe it to our parent that they created us. Is something like this talked about anywhere today? No. I'm afraid no. So somewhere So much activity, work related, social relationship related, has occupied parents' life. The children have become incidental. We hand them over the mobile phone, be busy with it, we switch on the TV, be busy with it. We do not have any other way. So they keep on getting closer and closer, more and more exposed to something which is inhuman, or something inhuman is used in a different context. Let me replace the word by non-impersonal, impersonal. They see the cartoon like that, coming with the guns and doing this thing with that, doing this thing with that. So they do not see the human interaction. While the personality grows, as Jitish would agree, with the emotion, with the emotion. Human being far different than the robot become human being because they are invested with so many emotions. Even though Mr. Lal or Ms. Jyoti Pawar or me may not have our parents for last many decades. I don't know about Jyoti ji. At least I know about Mr. Lal. I don't know you know about Mr. Lal. Mr. Lal, are your parents alive? No.
No, no,
But
please.
yet we carry those memories within us. We carry whatever we are because of the emotions having been invested in us. Is that process on today? No. Up to some extent, there are mechanical parents. They may have their own alibis, they may have their own excuses, and quite justifiable. And equally so, the children are becoming mechanical children. They are children, Mr. So and so's son and daughter. All of us come across people when we visit family where the father living in the house is not aware about where the son is, whether in Hong Kong or in Dubai. He's not aware about whether the daughter is in the next room or the daughter is somewhere away in USA. Not aware, because the father is having that kind of business. If he makes a call to his daughter on mobile, daughter says, I'm in Dubai. कब गए? 2 दिन पहले गए. Now, no connection, no answerability, no accountability. That when did you go to Dubai? You didn't tell me. That's what the life has become. Third thing I would like to mention over here, which may be agreeable or may not be agreeable to a good number of people across the country and across the world. What was religion meant to be? To bring people closer together, to let people live peacefully together, to let people love each other, to let people find commonality in each other, to let people find that there is a bigger power which has brought us over here and which has brought us to live together happily. What we have made the religion to be? The biggest source of differences, the biggest source of division in people, and that's what we have glamorized. Today, many religions encourage crime. Needless for me to pinpoint anyone, everybody knows. Every religion in different hues, different colors, directly, indirectly. And those, what they would not like to admit this is crime. Because if you are doing something for the nation, if you are doing something for the religion, it is justifiable. That's not a crime. So the definition of crime had changed over the decades. The youth is not saying this is crime. He would say, I'm fighting for my right. I'm fighting for my religion. Let me finish the part of the religion. I'm not having any crime. I'm fighting for my religion. You people are finding fault with me. Do we have a system when we can say that crime is crime, unrelated to anything else? Crime is crime. If I do the murder of XYZ, that is simply murder. It cannot be condoned, it cannot be endorsed, it cannot be validated, it cannot be supported by anything anywhere in the world. Do we have that clear-cut system? Fearfully, Jyotiji would endorse, fearfully, no. The case keep on getting dragged in the court for years together. I was reading this morning in a newspaper, Kushan Kumar's murder case, which happened somewhere in 98 to 99, and this is 2021. 22 years later, that case is still going on the court. 22 years later, what a farce of the legal system. So youth is witnessing this thing, that cases can be dragged in the court, whether the money power or the manipulation or some of our brilliant advocate friends know the knack of either getting the case killed or getting the case dragged interminably. Yotiji, no offense to you. Every profession has people of different age. Our profession also has bad people, even though we had Doctors' Day yesterday. But we know 99% people are good, but 1% not so good people, they tarnish the image of the good people too. And we have to hear. We all are witnessing about it. So in every profession, there are people who know how to get away. What lesson we are giving to the youth? You do the crime, you take care. You do anything, we know how to get out of it. You do anything, we would make sure that nothing happens. We'd make sure the witness doesn't reach the court. What is happening at different states, be it West Bengal or Maharashtra? Because either state-wise or nation-wise or globally, what message we are giving to the youth? That you can get away. And who is giving this message? Almost every one of us. The rich parents, very well known. People have done crimes on the road in the broad daylight, and the rich parents have saved them. Not so rich parents having good contacts with the right people, they have saved their children. Many other people who have access to the power or they are wielding power, day in and day out, they are doing crime to the humanity. From the public platform, from the political platform, they are talking rubbish, which is almost as good as crime against the humanity, against the wider section of society, against different sect of people. Yet, do we have any method to take them to task? No. We are lax in that, or we have other compulsions, so we don't have any. I may sound a little harsh, I may sound a little bitter, but I also have equal sympathy for the young adults because I interact with them too. And often I have sympathy, a real well-placed sympathy, what they are being exposed to. We often blame them. We put them in the juvenile ashram or juvenile home. What kind of people they come across over there? Juvenile is supposed to be for the reformation on the paper. What they learn? They had done one crime, they learn 10 crimes over there. Because the company they get it. These are people who have done 9 more crimes. The person entered with one small crime of pickpocketing, having been caught and put in juvenile home. Well, he learned 10 more things, how to do further crime. So this is the current situation. So I often feel sympathy for the youth who do not have role model, who do not have healthy system of education. Like I think Mr. Lal mentioned or you mentioned, Japan. We don't have any healthy education system of character build up. Why not they should be frequent PTA? Why not they should be all teach in the school and all children in the school should sit together? Why not the system of prayer what we used to have earlier regularly? Why not we should have a moral classes like we had in our time? Why not we should think about the 1 hour a week on scriptures from all religions? I wouldn't mind saying so. Be it any religion, scriptures, the good points. Let every scripture be spoken aloud, read aloud, or highlighted about the good points. Let the whole class coming from different sections of society, from religion, hear what is good in this religion. Why not? But we don't have that system. We have had one after another education minister in the center. They all told Lal Killa was the best monument India has. Taj Mahal was the best monument. Nobody talked about the various Indian temples in the South India. We never been spoke about. Somewhere we need overall of the system. Pinning down at the youth or advancing towards the crime is not solution. That is just a discussion. What we may also be accused of doing armchair discussion. I'm open for it if and when required. People like Mr. Lal is doing a great job. At least he's opening up a platform to discuss this. Jyoti ji is doing a great job. Itishi is doing a great job in a way. I'm open for wherever the educated people, well-informed people, well-intentioned people can do something concrete. I try to do by conducting a workshop on different topics and letting people know about different aspects of it. Maybe some people may be critical. They may not agree. I remember when I've spoken about the fear is the biggest crime, fear is the biggest emotion sold, fear is biggest business, fear is the biggest emotion where there's the biggest business all over the world. I received threatening call for days together. What the hell you think of yourself? And obviously you can guess who must have given me the threat call. For days together with this threat call, what do you mean by this? Whom you think you are? Fair enough. Some people may not like it. But against that, many youngsters would agree. The code of conduct of the behavior, Mr. Lal did mention, and I'm happy that he did mention. The city we come from, all good cities, all cities lesser than metropolitan cities, we had a system of respecting women. We had a system of how we have to look to them, how we have to look up to them, how we have to uh, adore them, how we have to admire them. We had great regard and respect for the woman as Nari or as Devi. Today, the social media, the electronic media had brought down women only something plaything, only which is only for the man's pleasure. And this is what is so easily available even to a 12-year-old guy, 12-year-old boy is aware about it. What's happening to his neighbor? What's happening to the auntie who's next door? Where have we come to? And for which jointly each one of us is responsible. I can't wash up my hand. This is the role of politician. This is the role of censor board. This is the role of education ministry. This is the role of advocates. No, this is the role of me too. Because my behavior is being watched by my children. My behavior is being watched by my grandchildren or my nieces and nephews. Whether I'm giving them the right model, right module, right role model, or whether I'm misguiding them. Long back, I have read somewhere if every human being keeps 5 meter area around him clean, just 5 meter in his vicinity clean, whole world would be a beautiful place. Before we say to someone else that you should do this and you should do this, what can I do? So I do whatever I think one should do that, and directly, indirectly, I inspire youth. Treat another human being as respectable as fellow human being. Same creation of the same God. You may call it Allah, you may call it Jesus Christ, you may call it Vaheguru. Another human being is not subject to your crime, whichever kind of crime, whether you snatch the Mangal Sutra, or you snatch the mobile, or you snatch the purse, or you snatch something else, or you do some other bigger crimes. So my request to everyone concerned, whosoever is listening in any part of the country, in any part of the world, please sit down with your kids. Kids means of any age, and discuss openly. Initially, it may sound little artificial exercise, but with few sessions, you both would grow fond of each other to discuss many issues, many areas. And your children would find no better person in the world than you as a father or as a mother to learn from you. My children never heard me giving any kind of abuse in Hindi or English. They don't give any abuse. They saw me never insulting or looking down at a woman, describing women in any derogatory way. They never use this. I'm delighted about it. This is what the wealth I have transferred to them. So I request to every parent whosoever, in whichever position and in whichever religion, let's be proud of the religion wherever we belong to. And let's get the best out of every religion's tenets, every religion's teachings. And let us pass on the good values and good system to every religion rather than anything else. Let us create good civilian. The youth is our product, it's in our hand. It's like our plants, our soil where we can sow the seeds of healthy plants, beautiful fruit-giving productive plants, or a jhadi, kante wali jhadi, or the weeds. So this is all what I would like to put across, Mr. Lal. Thank you very much for giving me a chance. And I'm really delighted to hear Itishri and Jyotiji and Urvashi. Over to you, Mr. Lal.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. And Dr. Rajiv Anand has given today very, very forthright, clear views about the crime, increasing crime in young. Now, what he says is that earlier also the crime was there, but it was not reported because there was no social media, no electronic media. And so that's what one of the reasons crime was there, but not that much what we had seen today, but there was a less reporting also. But he make very, very clear point. He says the crime is glamorized and he blames, he says that it is because of the trend what we are seeing in Bollywood or any other movies, what we are seeing today. And he has even given the example how the early 50s or 60s, what type of titles of the movies and what types of heroes role used to be. But then it is changing. And now everyone, when youth goes to a movie, see the movie, he or she just see how fast a hero or heroine become rich, or how they are enjoying with all the luxuries. They never want to see what's the end, how they have been put in the jail, or how the things, but they want to become rich. And that is why this crime is started. He also mentioned the ethical values has lost. Earlier, the parents give the values, which now nobody is having time. They don't have time. They are busy. He says even no emotions. The parent doesn't have emotionally, and that is why things are happening. He has given a very crude example, I must say, that the daughter is in the next room, or a daughter is in Dubai, and the father doesn't know where is she. Now, when this type of connection, no connection among the family, it is giving a free hand to the children or the youth to do whatsoever they want to do. He has also made a very important point, is that religion is now glamorized. Earlier, the religion always teach that we all are one. We have to be one. We have to respect the women. We have to respect each other. But now religions are again glamorized. They have become a something which people are using to show their power. And he says very clearly that the courts failed to do their duty. The case has been dragged, and once the case has been dragged, then what is the use of a crime which has been committed, even a petty crime? And he mentioned about the Julian homes. He says that condition of the Julian homes are such pathetic in India that those who are going there for one petty crime, they learn 9 crimes. And we have also seen in the media how the Julian home keepers, they are doing the sex crimes with them. We have seen recently in Bihar one very big scandal which has come out. So all these things, and he says that earlier we used to have moral science classes. Now no one is bothered about that. He mentioned that we should have an open discussion. The family should have open discussion with the children so that they learn. And he says very clearly, very emotionally in the end, that the youth are our own. We have to take care of them. I am sure today's what Dr. Rajiv Anand has mentioned is really a very, very clear message to all our viewers, that youth are your own. They are your own children. If you want them to become good human being, please nourish them accordingly. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand, for giving your views. I think it's better to take you in the last so that you can give more and more time and give more easily, because earlier you used to, once you come in the first, you always want to listen to others. But we really want your opinion, because you are the person who is doing this thing for last so many decades, and you are coming across with the families, the youth, parents, and you know what are the real problems. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Now I would like to ask a question. I will go again in the same way I have started. I will go to Ms. Urvashi first. Ms. Urvashi, you have mentioned about that the parents are not taking care, they require more supervision. I will give you an example. In USA, in the schools, from the first standard or below that, the schools are providing the laptop to the child with all locks, etc., which, as you mentioned. So the child is using that laptop because of the online education right now. And if it is online, even if it is off the line for the time being, for say 2-3 days in the school, the child has to carry the laptop, a latest laptop with a very light one version, not a very heavy one. So now in India, we have seen, Dr. Rajiv Anand knows, you might be knowing, the politicians are distributing the laptops across the party line with their logos. Why not those laptops? Sorry. Why not
Sorry.
those? No, I put it. Why not those laptops being provided to the schools? Either the private schools can afford, those who are elite schools, they purchase, or the government aided schools, the government should provide, and let the schools responsibility, so that the property will remain with the schools. They say like a custodian, and when the session ends, the school. So the problem which you have raised can be sorted out. What do you think about that, Ms. Urvashi, please?
Sir, I think it's an excellent suggestion that you have given. And as far as I recall, the government had also done, they had started one Akash tablet. For some reason, it never really took off. And yes, abroad, I know that the children are given tablets from the school side, wherein they can only access certain number of classes, and it's a very restrict access they get to the internet, and that is the need of the hour. The problem in our country is that there is too much of disparity in resources. Now, if we talk in terms of government schools, then the government providing so many of them to the government schools, it's not that it cannot be done. It's a humongous exercise. And if the government takes an initiative, I'm sure it can be done. But if you talk in terms of private schools, now private schools have got children of various financial backgrounds. So, and no private school is going to buy it from their pocket and provide it to the students. They're definitely going to add the cost to the child's fee, which again sometimes becomes makes the fee go a little on the higher side, and it will become again a problem for these students to afford it.
Okay.
It's a good solution, but it will take time, sir.
Yes, because what you said about the parents nowadays, as we know that due to the nuclear family, mother and father both are busy on work from home. At that time, they can't say, and the child is also very because they can't consider, they have no access to know that whether the child is attending the class or he is playing the violent games as you have suggested. Anyway, thank you very much, Ms. Urvashi, for giving your views. Now, Advocate Jyoti Pawar, you are mentioning about the Saudi Arabia type of punishment in India. Let's assume we go for that. But even for the crime like rape, where everything is specified, where the fast tracks courts are there, how much time the Nirbhaya case took place with so much limelight in the media, in that other cases, as Dr. Rajiv Anand mentioned about that Gulshan Kumar murder case, and it is not yet final. It has not yet reached to the final. It has been given by the High Court. Now the Supreme Court is there. Now my point to you is, unless our judicial system is reformed, and if they will give a time-bound punishment, even if these laws, whatsoever we have, if there is somebody will get in 6 months or 1 year finalized everything, punishment, that will deterrent. But if they knows that it will take 10 years or 20 years, I have committed a crime, no problem, good advocates or whatsoever things, I will be safe, and again I will be doing the crime. What do you say about this, Advocate Jyoti Pawar?
Yes, Mr. Lal, you're absolutely right. As far as Indian judicial circumstances are concerned, it's very unfortunate that long time is taken to deal with matters and criminal cases are lined up. Only the persons who are already going on bail, their cases take about 20 years. With me, only some of the cases which are there where the accused is on bail, 20 years have passed, but the trial, this appeal has not come for hearing in the court. Now, for this, the only solution is this: more number of judges has to be appointed, and time-bound frame has to be given for the matters to be decided. And that direction has to be definitely coming from Supreme Court. As far as the going away from the punishment is concerned, yes, that's also very unfortunate that today face law gives more attention than the case law. I always say that face law, if you engage a very senior counsel in a matter in High Court, the case will go in his favor, because I feel that the caliber of the judges who are appointed are not so good, which there used to be earlier. Now, that is also one of the points. And today, when Ms. Varman is there on the show, I would definitely like to say that as far as the parental things go, the parents are the best person to give the best lessons to the children in the house, and supervision should be there of the parents on every activity of the youths. Not only that, the teachers, now the principal should see that some of the classes are held for moral science, like Dr. Anand said, moral science should be made a compulsory subject where spiritual things should be taught. And also yoga meditation should be there as one of the classes for the youth in schools as well as in college. Otherwise, if the youth take up to crime, there will be no space left and the society will go for anarchy.
Okay. Thank you very much, Advocate Jyoti Pawar. Now, my question goes to Dr. Itishri. Dr. Itishri, you mentioned that that the child psychology, one has to see from the very beginning. If anything goes wrong, there is a warning. But Dr. Itishri, the parents are very cautious today. Instead of consulting a psychiatrist, they will immediately consult the net. So don't you think that the nowadays the parents, depending on the internet knowledge, is more harmful? That if there is some warning, they see that the child has stolen something, or they is telling lie, or she is telling lie, instead of, or something which has commented by a principal that this child is doing this thing, instead of consulting a consultant, they are consulting the internet or those moms group, and that group, the suggestions which are coming is not what the child is required. Because as a psychiatrist, and especially the child psychiatrist, you might be knowing that a child might be undergoing some stress, which is not a common thing with all the children. So the net cannot give that thing. Do you think the parents should consult a child psychiatrist or someone who can guide them properly? What you say about this, Dr. Itishri?
Exactly. I think searching on the internet it might actually mislead the parents. In fact, uh, in very recent times, I have been seeing children, very young children, that the parents have been coming up to me and they boast that, मेरा बच्चा तो मुझसे भी अच्छा इंटरनेट चला लेता है, बहुत स्मार्ट है. But what about social skills? So that child is lacking social skills. So I think parents also have to understand that how much appealing it is for a child to use the internet smartly. It should be very, very supervised.
Okay.
Second thing,
Yeah.
also, yeah, and also, as you said, that it might be that child is undergoing some stress. So I think talking to the child, conversation, not confrontation, but conversation is very important, because if you as a parent will not talk to the child, I'm sure child will find someone else on the internet to talk to, and we don't know how safe is that someone else.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Itish. Yes, Miss Urvashi, you have raised the hand. Before I will go to Dr. Rajivanand. Are you there, Miss Urvashi? You please, yeah, just
Yes,
brief
yes.
one, because we have a lot paucity of time.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
please.
No, I just wanted to say, when we talked about giving moral values, so it is definitely a part of the CBSE curriculum to instill value education, not giving it a separate period, but integrating it with the subjects that are being taught. So
Okay.
it's not that it's not happening in schools. It is happening in schools.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ms. Urvashi. Ms. Dr. Rajivanand, now my question to you is not the question, rather, do you think we should have a refresher classes for the parents so that these type of values can be given to them, which are lacking in India? In other countries, they are, even when the child is born, they always teach how to handle the child. Afterwards also, if any problems comes, the parents consult a psychiatrist there, or a consultant, or a psychologist, whosoever. But in India, they only consult the net, which I asked Dr. Itishri. But do you think we can have some, after 4 or 5 years of the parenthood, they can have a refresher course, like in many of your profession, we have a refresher course like IAS, IPS, they go for refresher course. Why not the parents refresher course, how to handle the child so that emotionally they will not have any problem, so they will not commit crime? What you say, Dr. Rajivan?
Mr. Lal, that's what exactly you're doing. You are providing a platform for the refresher course for most of us. We are talking about those ideas which we haven't spoken for the last few decades, and we are realizing the worth of it. In fact, whenever something is offered in a curriculum way or in a properly packed way, people run away from it. Oh, I am now this much old, I don't need it. But whenever something is discussed in a open, in an informal, in a playful way, in a jovial way, then something strikes us. In fact, you and me are watching for the month that many brilliant ideas are coming out of the panelists' mouth. Whatever may be our age, whatever may be our education or IQ, those ideas had not struck our mind earlier. But when we hear it, we nod it and we realize it, yes, whether it's the youngest among us, Itishi spoke today, whether the most experienced one, Jyotiji and Urvashi spoke today, we accept, yes, this is a good idea.
Now, people have a very, very popular habit of what they call time pass. So many people have problem with their time, they don't know what to do with that. From playing cards to playing Antakshari to playing karaoke to gossiping to kitty and whatnot. So there is no shortage of time. Shortage is of motivation. Can we spend an hour a week? I'm talking aloud a very, very simple thing. Can we spend an hour a week with our children where we will not have time pass activity, when we will have something productive, something creative, something very, very fulfilling, something very energizing. I often discuss with my kids, I'm not going to take more time. I take them to my childhood, to my parents, to my grandparents. I tell them about what was there, so at least they remember. So somehow we have to connect them to the roots. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. So today, viewers, you have seen the views of all the experts in their field, that how the crime is increasing, and especially in youth. And the common thing is everyone is saying that it is main reason is the civil society, the parents. If we are not going to nurture them properly, how we expect them that they will become a good human being and a good citizen for the country? And for that, all of us has to take a decision or take some concrete step just to watch the child. If there is any change or anything the teacher or the principal of a school is writing, please take it seriously. Watch them, what they are doing. And if you find any problem there, consult, talk to them. If not, then consult somebody who is expert in this field. Thank you very much. And today's program has been live telecasted by V4 News, Global TV, V4 Stream, Malnadu TV India, News Gaon Se, Samvad Sarokar News, Post News, Bharat Post News, as well as was shown live on Facebook and YouTube. And our endeavor is to bring to you every day a new topic. But for last more than 1.5 months, we have started a evening program, Kal Aaj aur Kal Lal Goel ke Sang. And this program is basically to bring on our platform those who achievers who have achieved their life, and they will narrate their life story from their childhood, so that the viewers will come to know how they have reached on top. And today, the program Kal Aaj aur Kal Lal Goel ke Sang at 4:30 p.m. The chief guest is Dr. Rukhsana Hassan. She's a renowned psychologist, trainer, coach, motivational speaker, special educator for early childhood education and development from Bengaluru. And she is going to tell her own life story, how she has reached on the top in such time. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Rajiv Anand. Thank you very much, Ms. Urvashi Varman. Thank you very much, Advocate Jyoti Pawar. Thank you very much, Dr. Itishri Sidana. And thank you all the viewers for watching our show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.